Welcome to our 4th training session for the Deafblind mentoring program. Thanks in particular to those of you who have been able to attend every session. We will have links and transcripts of all sessions for anybody who has missed any of the sessions. And I know there are some people who are planning to join the program, but this time wasn't convenient, so we're sending them the links and the transcripts so that they can learn that you all have the same information. So in today's session, I first was going to just check in if there's any reflections or thoughts on what we've covered so far. Then I'll be talking about a balance wheel, which is another tool you can use for goal setting, something that can be useful for mentees and mentors. We'll then be looking at the next steps in the program, and I'll be talking a bit about some quizzes that we have for mentees and mentors to check if they're ready to join the program. We'll talk about the matching process, and David will be talking about how we will be evaluating different aspects of the program. So I first just wanted to check and reflect on what we've covered so far and just check if anybody has had any thoughts or questions, particularly about the concept of mentoring. What is mentoring? That's what we covered in our first session. Or about communication, different communication methods and styles and things to consider. And then we looked at goal setting last week. First, I do need to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land that we're meeting on, the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, and pay respect to their elders, past, present and emerging. So now I'll open it up to you on those topics that I talked about. I'm just wondering if people have been thinking about their communication styles or starting to use any of the goal setting tools. So remember Alt-Y to put your hand up if you want to sign or ask your question, or you can type it in the chat using Alt-H.
Okay, we have Jennifer Weir would like to ask a question, so go ahead, Jennifer.
Hello, Jennifer.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
That's good, but you still can't see me. I don't know what, the video won't work for some reason. I just want to ask how the mentor will manage someone who is non-verbal and only uses Auslan.
It's Meredith speaking. So we'll be explaining that a bit later, but we'll certainly be matching people based on their communication preferences and on their goals. So we'll make sure we'll match people where the communication won't be an issue, and also make sure that the mentor has the experience that the mentee is looking for. So because of the very diverse communication methods that people use, we'll be taking that into consideration.
Okay, thanks for that.
It's wonderful that we can hear your voice. This is a good final session where we've got all systems working properly today.
Not quite, but I'm still trying.
Video, but we can hear you. That's the main thing. Thank you. Just before I move on, are there any other questions or reflections on what we've covered so far?
I'm not seeing anything, so you're probably right to go on.
Okay, great. So the first thing that I was going to cover today is the balance wheel. And really this follows on from last week's session on goal setting. It's just another tool that you can use to help you with your goal setting. And we got this from Blind Citizens Australia. So thanks again to Blind Citizens Australia for sharing their resources with us. It's quite visual. So for those of you who can see it, you might want to shade it in or colour it. I emailed it out to everybody this week. But if you can't see it, you could make up your own, and it's really just putting in a ranking. So the way it works, there's a couple of suggestions in there already on different aspects of your life. But really it's up to you to choose which aspects you want to include. So in the example that I sent you, you can look at aspects such as your physical life, you know, exercise and your health, personal aspects like personal growth and development, social, work, spiritual. So it lists different aspects, and then you think about how you're going at the moment on those and give yourself a score out of 10. It's up to you to decide how you think you're going in that area. And the wheel will change at different times in your life, but the concept is that all of us need balance in our life. We need time to relax, we need time to connect with people, and we need time to be working and engaged in different activities and projects. So it's about stopping to think about what areas you're spending most time on, and if you're happy with that level, or if you would like it to be more or less. So you give it a rating, and when you colour it in, you colour in, you know, if it's not much, you would just colour in a little bit of the wheel, and if it's a lot, you'd colour in a lot of that section of the wheel. So the other way that you could think about it is different roles that you play in your life. So you might think about being an employee or a volunteer, a family member, an advocate, a member of a team, different roles that you might want to focus on more or less. And it's completely up to you which aspects you choose, but the purpose of it is to think about balance and having a balanced life. At the start of the page, it says that it's good for mentors as well as mentees, because mentors are often people who are giving and generous of their time. So it's good for mentors to think about how they're spending their time and make sure that they have balance in their life as well. And that's why it's called a balance wheel. So they use the concept of a wheel because they look at different wedges of the wheel, like a pie, different slices of pie for different aspects of your life. But you could also just write the name of the different parts of your life, write down physical, social, work, and just give it a score out of 10. And then it's useful to come back at the end of the mentoring program and look at if that's changed. Just saying what I said earlier, it will change at different times in your life. At sometimes you'll be much busier with work, sometimes family might be taking up a lot of your time. So that's reasonable, and it's expected that it will change. And you might be scoring a lot in one area and you might be happy with that. It's completely up to you to decide whether you want more or less of different aspects. But the main thing is that you're not only focusing on one or two areas, that you've got a few different areas of your life where you're paying attention. So just before I move on, does anybody have any questions about the balance wheel?
No raised hands or chat, so same.
Great. I will take that to mean I have been very clear. That's good. So now it's really looking at the next steps with the mentoring program. And the very first step, now that you've completed the training, is to consider whether you are interested in being a mentee or a mentor in the program. It's also reasonable to be both. You might have a lot of experience in a particular area that you are willing to offer and share to support somebody else, but there might be some other aspects of your life that you're wanting to develop and become a mentee to develop skills and experience in a different area. So it's fine to register as both a mentee and a mentor, or just one. So in the information that I sent you, there are readiness quizzes, and they're a set of questions to check if you are ready to register as a mentee or to register as a mentor. Some of the things that they cover are, do you have a certain amount of experience in a particular area that you have focused on in your own life? This is for a mentor, that you're willing to share. Another thing for both the mentee and the mentor to consider is how often they would want to meet and at what time, because it's important for us when we're looking at matching that we don't match someone who's only available in the daytime with someone who's only available in the evening. So it's good to start thinking about how much time you have, when would suit you best, and the way that you want to interact with your mentor or mentee. Whether you really want face-to-face, whether you would be happy with email or video conference. It's completely up to you, but the clearer you are on those sorts of things, the better we can match you. For a mentee, it's important to have a few goals to start with, to not think, oh, well, yeah, I think it would be good to have a mentor, but not really have thought about what you want to achieve from the program. So using some of those goal-setting tools that we've talked about so that you've at least got 1 or 2 goals to take to your first session with your mentor. So I've sent those out, and if you're interested, before you register, it would be good to go through and check all those questions and make sure you're getting a yes for every question. And if there are some questions that you answer a no to, that's just a sign you need to think a little bit more about those aspects. Just doing an interpreter swap. Thank you, Sarah. Shall I talk about matching? I'll just talk about the matching process now. So the next step would be to register, and we have sent you the registration form. So with the matching process, if you register as a mentee, we can fairly confidently guarantee that you will be matched with a mentor. So we will look at the mentors that we have and check if any look like they are a good match. And if we think it's somebody that you know, we would double check if you're happy to be matched with a person you know. But if there are no mentees with the skills and communication methods that are going to work best for you registered, we will do a targeted search and find a mentor who's suitable for you. So all mentees will definitely be matched. With mentors, we hope that you would be matched, but it will depend a little bit on whether there are mentees looking for that particular skill and area that you have to offer. So I'll hand over to David now to talk a bit about the evaluations.
Hello, hello everyone. It's David here. It's good to see you all today, and welcome to the last session of the peer mentoring program. I'm going to be talking about mentoring evaluation. So as Meredith talked about before, after you've been matched with a mentor, or a mentor is matched with a mentee, this program will go over 6 months, and it really depends on the goals that you have set up, and you may meet once a week over the period of 6 months. So once the 6 months program is complete, it'll be around the beginning of June, we will send out mentoring evaluation forms for both mentees and mentors. So if you're a mentor, you'll evaluate your experience with the mentee. So some of the questions may be, was the mentee responsive, maintain contact with you? What did you learn from the mentoring experience? Was it productive? And these sorts of things will help us identify how the relationship works. We also have another form for the mentee who have questions about the mentor and how that relationship worked with you. So was the mentor have good contact with you? Did you learn a lot from your mentor? Were you comfortable with the mentor? And that's some of the things we look at to gather all the feedback. And it's useful for both mentees and mentor to learn how to improve for the future of mentoring. So once we've gathered all that paperwork, then we look at end of training evaluation. So we will send this out to everyone at the end. That will talk about mainly around how the training was delivered. So the course materials that we used, the case studies we used, the communication styles we used, all the information that you learnt throughout the course. So we want to know, was it effective? Did you learn a lot about these different tips of communication? Was the goal setting template effective? Did it help you prepare your goals well? And what didn't work well? So you can offer these feedback to Meredith and I, how we can do better in future programs. So that will be sent out around June, and then we can you can contact us throughout the program to make sure that we are comfortable with the whole process of mentoring. And if you're not happy with anything, please contact Meredith and I, and we'll make sure everything's in its place. Does anyone have any questions about the evaluations and end of training evaluations?
Training evaluation will go out next week.
There's a couple of comments. Wilma's just said that she had to leave now. And also Rodney said that he hadn't received the form for this. And that's it for now.
Did Rodney not receive
The form, I'll make sure he gets it.
Thanks for that, Rodney. We'll make sure you provide you with all the information you need including the registration. After today, we'll ask everyone to fill out the registration if they're interested in participating in the mentoring program. And the registration will help us identify how we can matchmake you, do the matchmaking process, and follow up with each one of you to get you set up in the program. So we'll make sure you have all the forms you need and all the program materials to help you read through the information to help prepare before we start the mentoring program. So remember, you can contact Meredith and I through our email addresses, and I think if you don't have them, we'll make sure we'll send them out to you. So we have you on the registration list.
Dave, Jennifer Weir has a hand up. Would you like to chat to Jennifer?
Jennifer, do you have any questions?
Her microphone is not unmuting, so maybe she's having problems again. Okay, we might have to come back to that one. Carol Brown seems to be putting her hand up as well, but she doesn't have a microphone, so we can't really talk to her. So yeah, I think just press on.
Yes, I sign, thank you, yes.
Okay, Carol Brown.
That's all right.
Yep, go
So
Carol.
Meredith sent the registration last Monday, and I filled out all that registration. I had a read through. I've been quite busy, sorry. And I'm interested in the mentor process and
Teaching cooking to a deaf
cooking to a deafblind person, possibly.
Yeah. We need to look at your registration form and determine what skills you'd like to develop. And then we can look at a possible person with deaf blindness who can provide that mentoring support.
I think
Is that
Carol's wanting to be the mentor.
so you would like to be the mentor, Carol?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I've been thinking about it. Yeah, it's a good start.
Yeah. Meredith will fill you in with this one.
Thank you, David. And that's great to hear, Carol, that you've already had a look and filled in the form. So one thing that we can do, if we do have mentors who are really keen to be a mentor and practice in the program, we can put a general call out and say to people with deaf blindness around Australia, we have a mentor who's really keen to share their cooking knowledge. If somebody is interested in joining the mentoring program to learn cooking with a vision impairment, because I'm sure you have lots of strategies, Carol, that someone else could benefit from learning. So sometimes people will say, yes, we just put it out there and see what happens. But with the mentees, yeah, we definitely can match people. With the mentors, it's not guaranteed. I just wanted to double check, Rodney, because everybody did get sent the information on Monday. You said you didn't receive the form. I just want to double check which form that is that you didn't receive.
Also, Mary, Jennifer's mic's now working, so see if she's still got that question.
Okay, I'll just wait if Rodney can type in the chat to answer that question about which form. Did Rodney receive my email on Monday with all of the documents?
It's Rodney Basket.
Mm.
Okay.
Still no reply from Rodney, but when he does post, I'll let you know.
Okay. All right, Jennifer, did you have a question?
Okay, come in. Can you hear me? No. I'll stop. How long
Heather also has raised her hand.
Okay.
R-E-G-I-S-T-E-R.
Jennifer, we can hear you.
Can't hear us.
Question.
Hello, Jennifer, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me? No.
Do you have a question or a comment for us? Jennifer?
She seems to be having trouble with the microphone. She's put in the chat that she's saying, how long do we have to register?
That's a great question, Jennifer. So we will accept registrations really up until March. The project will run until the end of June. So we'd want to get partnerships matched at least by March, so they at least get a couple of months to get started. But I guess the sooner you get it in, the sooner we can start matching you. So it would be great to get it in, you know, in the next couple of weeks so we can start looking at the matching process. Thanks for that question. That's a good question. Just to reiterate, I'll be sending out an evaluation of this training program because we want to evaluate the training. So I'll be sending that out either late this week or early next week, and then we will evaluate the whole program in June next year. So Heather, we'll hand over to you for your question. Someone will need to voice and sign.
You can sign. We're talking about registering.
Sorry,
Where do I find the paper for the registering? I'm interested in registering. Was it last Monday that you sent them around?
It's Meredith speaking. Yes. So on Monday, the information that I sent out was the 2 readiness quizzes. So it's really important you go through those, and that will help you with your registration form. So there's the mentee readiness quiz, the mentor readiness quiz, the registration form, and the balance wheel, and the 2 evaluations, just so you can see what will be in the overall package at the end. So all of that information went out. I will email everybody again with the registration form just in the body of an email, so it's really easy to complete for you. And I'll also email out the training evaluation.
Mary, Rodney's now mentioned in the chat saying that the forms he didn't receive are maybe about mentoree and mentor forms, skills, etc., about skills, etc.
So I have been emailing every Monday before the training all the forms that we talk about in the session. Rodney, have you received any of my emails with the documents in them?
I think you might have to follow it up later, Mary. The chat's not quite that responsive.
Okay. There was something else I just thought of. It's gone. That's right. So I did want to thank Heather again for her suggestion of putting all of the documents into one manual. David and I have been working on that and it's nearly complete. So we will be sending out an electronic version of that next week. So everybody will have all of the documents, all of the handouts in one manual that also has some other links to resources in it. And we will be brailing that for anybody who needs a braille copy of it. That will take a little bit longer, but we will get that to you as soon as possible.
And also, Rodney, he said he's received a few emails, so he's getting some of them.
Okay. Rodney, I will email you to double check which ones you've received and what you're missing. However, you will get all of the documents in that one manual next week. So you'll all have all of the information then.
And Heather has a hand up, so ask Heather what she wants.
Heather? So Sarah, your voice and your relay.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
Sorry, I missed that. So I have a question.
A little bit off track. Oh, go for it.
Sorry, Marie, can you just go back? I missed the first part. I was looking in the other direction. I'm so sorry.
Brooding branch, something. Sorry.
Sorry, I'm talking a bit off topic at the moment. Sorry. Last week you sent out one. You sent out some. Oh, so you're going to do one manual altogether. So if we read through that online, will we set up a special, like a special book that we can read through? I think like an iBook where we can download everything or look at everything. Because if I don't have, you know, a hard copy manual, and it might be hard for me to find, I think it might not work. Did I get that? I'll have to ask Marie if I got that right. Sorry.
Craig, can you unmute Heather, and then maybe Marie can interpret? No, that's okay. That's okay.
You are unmuted by host. Mute. Currently unmuted. Button.
Hi, it's Heather speaking. I'm not sure if it's the right idea or not, but just through my experiences, when I'm reading iBooks on the phone, sometimes it can be quite tiring and boring. So if I put a bookmark in that information, then I'll know where I'm up to. So whether it's on iBooks or the internet, just so it's a lot easier for deafblind people to access that information, will there be a bookmark on that link? I'm not sure how that works. And Heather said before, hello Brady Bunch, because of how the screen is.
It does look like the Brady Bunch with all the heads on the screen. Ha, 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 ha. Again, thank you so much for your input. All your suggestions have helped David and I better understand the needs. So we hadn't considered that. It will be a Word document, and I am not familiar with the process of making it an iBook so that you can use a bookmark. Can I just check with you if it is in a Word document, which is the format that it will be, can you use bookmark with a Word document, or do we have to convert it to a different format?
I haven't tried that, Meredith. It's a new idea, I guess, but I haven't tried it. Maybe you'd have to ask around people who use that type of information and ask whether they can access it or not.
Okay, so it's Meredith speaking. I think what the plan will be is that we're keen to get that booklet out to everybody. So we will email it out as it is, as a Word document, but we will look into how we can make it into a version that can be bookmarked. So we will definitely follow that up, and we will also be getting it formatted and brailled, and take out any of those diagrams so that it can be brailled clearly, just to make sure that it's in all the possible formats that are most accessible. So the format we send out next week might not be the best, but at least you'll have the information there, and we will get improved formats to you as soon as we can. But it will be a really useful document, so you're not having to hunt through all the emails with all the documents. I think it's been useful to send them out to you each week as we've been developing them before the sessions. But from here on in, you'll have them all in one place, and you can refer to them as you're going through the program and referring back to them for ideas as you're in the mentoring process. Okay, so are there any final questions or comments about the process from here on?
Carol has her hand up, so can you talk to Carol?
So Sarah will voice.
Can't see Carol.
Oh, is that
Oh,
Carol?
Brown.
It's Carol
Yes, of
Brown.
course.
Yeah.
Look, I think the ebook is a great idea. You could use PDFs as well. I use PDFs. So, you know, PDF or Word. Some letters I put into that format to keep them. So I think that's a really good, I think it's really handy.
Mary, I know you can easily convert Word to PDF, so that's another option as well. So maybe you could put it out in both formats.
So we just have Carol speaking at the same time.
Maybe
You need to relay,
yeah,
Carol.
yeah, we'll do our job, sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
Maybe deaf-blind person wants to teach another deaf-blind person Braille. It's possible.
It's another idea we could add, you know, for a mentor. That could be a skill they could share. That's just an idea.
It's Meredith. I agree that's a great thing that a person could assist with mentoring. I just want to be clear, a mentor is there to support and guide. Teaching is a small component of mentoring, but you wouldn't want the whole mentoring partnership to be about teaching. Teaching is a different role than mentoring. Teaching is a small aspect of mentoring, but not the whole aspect. Mentoring is really about finding other ways and other processes for supporting the learning. Also, you definitely really want to be face-to-face, I think, to meet face-to-face to do the Braille. It's Meredith again. Heather, can I just check, is PDF accessible to you? Can you use bookmarks with PDF format?
Alert, you are unmuted by host. Mute, currently unmuted button.
I read iBooks through my iPhone and I can read them really well, but on the computer, I can't access PDFs at all, but I can only do that on my iPhone. But perhaps I would have to swap my larger Braille display to my iPhone. But perhaps you could ask Michelle, because we have different experiences, but I can access PDFs on my phone. Some organizations, their PDFs have drawings and things like that, but if it's a very plain, simple PDF, then I can access it.
It's Meredith speaking. I'll definitely do the book in both Word and PDF format, but we'll also look into how we would make it possible to bookmark it, because I'm not sure that works with Word or PDF. I'll look into that, Heather, but it's a really good point. Thank you.
Sorry, can I just add in one more thing?
Yes.
Again, because this is so new to me, I am improving on my technology skills, but sometimes if something is quite lengthy, I like to be able to jump from the top to the bottom of what I'm reading, but I'm not sure if you can actually do that with PDFs. So perhaps you could do a bit of exploring with that format and just see whether we can do it or not, and I could give you some feedback.
It's Meredith. Sure, we can keep trying different options until we both work out what's best. That's fine to work with you on that, Heather. Because I know for sure if it works better for you, there's going to be a lot of other people that it works better for too.
Maybe, yes.
Okay. Any final comments or questions?
Craig, we have no raised hands or no more chat messages. So,
did you have anything to add, David?
Yeah.
Yep.
Hello again. I think it's important that we provide accessible information and material. And I want to thank Heather for the option of using iBooks. It is new to me as well. And I had a quick look through Google for iBooks. It's a special type of app to use for your Apple phone. And we'll look into that and how we can upload the documents onto iBooks to make it work for you better, Heather. So we'll do our best to make sure.
Muted by host. Mute. Currently unmuted. Button.
It's okay, David.
Okay.
Computer.
And it might be useful if you fill out the registration is to add what type of formatted material you would like. That includes iBooks, Braille. We'll work around making sure the information is readable and accessible. Does anyone else have any other questions they might like to ask? Any ideas and goals on what you might like to do for your mentoring program? As Meredith mentioned, mentoring is about, guiding and looking at ways of developing your skills. So the mentor will show you how to do things, and then the idea is for you to carry out those roles yourself and learn to do things yourself. They might point you in the right direction with looking for information. They might point you to the different websites that you might need to find, a course you might want to learn, or anything else that you like to build your skills in.
Alert from Rodney Basket to everyone. iBook used for which phone, Samsung or iPhone?
That was the computer again.
No, it's Rodney speaking.
Oh, is that Rodney?
Yeah.
I think it was Heather's.
It's Rodney speaking.
yeah, it was Heather's computer reading out what Rodney said in the chat. So Rodney said, iBook used for which iPhone, Samsung or iPhone? iBooks is definitely an iPhone thing.
Yes, that's correct. There might be other formatted, devices that we can use. We just have to do the research and see what works best. So we can do all the different formats, PDF, Word, and we'll look into iBooks, and we'll do Brailing if required.
Heather has her hand up.
Heather, do you have it?
Muted by host. Mute. Currently unmuted. Button.
Just a few ideas that I've got to look into with VA.
with Vision Australia, because they've really they've got some great ideas with improved technology, and they've got all sorts of diaries and other technology that they use. And I think that they've got one document that they use that is great for all the various different needs. So it might be worth looking into what technology they use. That might be a good plan.
Vision Australia.
Worth looking into that, yeah.
Yes, thank you, Heather. I think Vision Australia has a lot of experience in formatting materials, and it'll be worthwhile looking into what Vision Australia have in regards to technology, and also with developing hard copies. And yes, we'll take on that suggestion, and to make sure that we offer those different formats that might be useful for any one of you.
You're welcome. I'm happy to offer suggestions.
Thank you, Heather. Does anyone else have any other final questions before we finish today?
It's Meredith speaking. I have a question. I have a question, and you can message me offline. I just took a photo of the screen, so I just want to check if anybody's not happy being in a photo that I put on social media. Can you let me know?
Who's on there?
So there was David, Sarah, Heather, and your interpreter, Heather, and Carol on the screen in the photo.
Carol's saying, fine, I'm happy with that.
Okay. Anyway, if anybody has a concern, please let me know. That's fine, and I won't put it in. So thanks again to everybody for participating. It's been really great having you on this 4-week journey with us.
Can we just acknowledge Erica has just said fine.
Erica?
Erica Webb.
Oh, great. Okay. Oh, Erica's online. That's good. Okay.
Erica got questions?
No, I think she's just saying fine about a photo.
That's right.
Yeah. So final closing comments, you can always email David or myself, and we'll look forward to receiving your registration forms soon. If there's no further questions, we'll close the session.
There's no raised hand, so that's all I can input.
All good from Carol? Okay. Great. Well, thanks again. Thanks to David, thanks to Sarah and Dennis, and thanks to Lee and to Craig, but especially to all of you. There's no point to any of it if you don't attend, so we really appreciate your attendance and participation. Thank you.